In your book, you talk about a situation where there's a woman who's half asleep and you jammed it in, I believe is the words that you used, which is so horrible.
But haven't you done that when a girl was half asleep? A girl
No.
that you already had sex with?
No.
You've never done it? Wasn't the first...
No. 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 No, you don't do that. No. What are you talking about? I want to go a little into the past. A little past into the MGTOW anti-feminist movement. I want some easy peasy content. And this is a good example of it. So we're going to watch a little documentary together, boys. We're going to go squad Wing today. You guys ready to squad W? I'm ready to squad W. I squad W so hard I turned gay.
Real Stories Tapes True Crime is your new true crime podcast fix. In our first season, we'll explore
Okay, I got it. Okay, got it.
Being a British guy in 2015 is not easy. 21st century pressures are changing.
No way.
The way we live,
Women are seen as superior to men.
the way we love,
If you are a Muslim, you cannot be gay. That's as simple as that.
even the way we look.
That's silicone. Yeah. This is mental.
In this series, I'm traveling to the extreme edge of modern British masculinity.
They basically said the only way you can stay is if you agree to be exorcised to get the demons out of you.
50 years after women began a march for equal rights, the battle of the sexes is being fought on a new front.
The state of gender relations
Oh
is
no!
at its worst
Oh god, he's in this?
probably for 100 years.
But this time, it's not by women,
Men rape, men rape. That's all we hear about, that men are rapists.
it's by young men.
Men are murdered more. Commit suicide more. Men are homeless more. Men are raped more in prison than women are total.
I want to know why so many young guys feel overlooked,
Women are no longer trained to submit to a man, to serve a man.
Trained to submit. How does he imagine a marriage works? Like, does he have a spray bottle and a fucking newspaper at the ready when he interacts with women? Just fucking like, you missed the dish, pop. Is that how he interacts with? I wonder why he's having trouble in the dating sphere. I wonder why.
fully judged,
I think the UK, especially the media, needs to decide whether or not they want freedom of speech or they want to stop people being offended by comedy.
and under attack.
I thought there's sort of a concerted attempt to shut men up.
I want to find out why a new generation of men thinks the real victims of sex discrimination
Hey, D Judge, thank you so much for being an ally to the NoFap cause and gifting 2 subs. I appreciate it.
are guys.
I'm pretty confident that women's issues are being dealt with. Men's issues, not so much.
Women's issues are being dealt with. Okay, so I guess it depends on the issue and how much. Okay, there is some legitimacy to what he said about like men's issues not being dealt with, as in they're not getting attention, right? But women's issues are not being dealt with, whatever the hell that means. Like, does he mean like what was it that if we continued on the current rate, it would be like 2,400 before we'd actually like see equity in pay between men and women? Like, I guess that is being dealt with, but is it being dealt with enough?
It's Sunday morning, the perfect time for a lecture by a man who teaches guys how to get more sex. Meet American blogger Roosh V.
So what I wanted to talk about today is having sex with girls you don't really like.
I believe the pay gap
am not gonna...
myth. Okay, so this is the thing. Don't you know it's a myth? Don't you know it's illegal to walk up to a woman and be like, woman, you get less pay. This man gets more pay. Nobody saying that believes if they have more than 2 fucking brain cells that that's what we're talking about. Men overall get paid more than women. This is due to a variety of factors. It's partially due to the lack of women in STEM. It's partially due to it's probably also due to the perception of women in pregnancy and how that affects their ability to work. It's due to a lot of factors. Nobody believes that this is what it is, that there's a man and a woman, and man's like, I hate women, therefore I pay man more. That's not what anybody's claiming when they talk about the pay gap.
Going to spend more than a couple hours just to access their warm, moist cavity holes.
Roosh made his name as a so-called pickup artist, writing guides for young men on how to sleep with women around the world.
He's got a book called 30 Bangs. What? Bang Ukraine, bang Iceland, bang Poland, bang Lithuania. Don't bang Denmark. Apparently Denmark isn't worth banging.
But in 2012, a US civil rights group included Roosh on a list of websites they branded hateful and misogynistic.
British girls are busted. You know they're not that old, but they just look old, like they've been working in a factory or coal mine their entire lives.
But he hasn't let that hold him back. He's now on a world tour. Though from the sounds of it, he's expecting trouble.
He's actually kept the venues that he's doing his events at a secret. Up until the very last minute. According to his website, the reason is that he's worried about feminists. Is what he's doing and saying so offensive that people are going to try and shut down this event? The name of the talk is The State of Man.
Imagine you have this... I, Roosh V, of an alpha male. Alpha male. I am based and red-pilled. The reason why women sleep with me is because I don't give a fuck. But guys, please don't tell anybody who I am, because the women scare me and I don't want them to shut down my conference. God, man. What alpha energy, man.
First bullet points, in terms of what his speech will contain, is something about the paradox of modern women. It feels like it's a lot broader than here's how to chat up the lady that you fancy at the bar.
They say British girls look like coal miners? Yeah. Makes no sense. The sad oh God. I don't want to explain it, because if I explain it, then it's going to be like, Dylan, how do you know what he means by that? And then by me knowing what he means by that, then I'm the sexist, and then I'm the one in shit. So I'm not going to explain it.
On the outside, it doesn't look like anyone's about to storm the doors. But inside, I'm starting to notice a real atmosphere.
Thanks.
I'm not sure anyone wants me here. We've already agreed not to show the faces of anyone who wants to remain anonymous. I'm pretty sure that this is the first time I've filmed anywhere where everyone insists on it. Roosh's topic today is the state of man. Maybe it's more controversial than I expected.
Sorry to jump in front of the queue. I just want to say thank you for having us here, man. A lot of people have turned up today to hear you speak.
The reason I came here is because the percentage of English men who read me is very large. And that is a weird thing, because I'm not from here. But the problem is, men are not allowed to speak the views that I am speaking. It takes an outsider to come here and...
Okay, they are allowed. People just will laugh in their face and say, Lamau, that's stupid. And then they'll say they're stupid, and that's... you're getting canceled. I mean, the thing is, okay, with people, we're not allowed, or our free speech rights are being restricted. No, it's you said a dumb thing, and then people are like, wow, that's a dumb thing. I don't want to associate with people who say dumb things, and then you whine, right? I mean, if I have, okay, if you're somebody going out like, yeah, I believe British women look like coal miners, and they're all worn down, right? Been worn down with age. Like a fine aged bread, then it's not going to be a huge surprise when people start saying, ew, gross, and don't want to associate with you.
And not be afraid of the hate crime laws that you guys have to give the truth. And so I wish there were more men here who could share their views, but if they do, we all know that people are going to go after their jobs and shame them.
You've got all shapes and sizes in here. It is really a broad spectrum as well in terms of race and background, and it actually feels quite excitable in here. You know, there's a room full of men who are excited about what they're about to hear. So am I.
Something has happened in the past 50 years.
Oh boy.
Where women are no longer trained to submit to a man, to serve a man. The very idea of beauty and aesthetics is being demolished to where now women are being applauded and encouraged to look like fat, outer space cyborgs. Women and gays are seen as superior to straight men.
Okay, so it's weird for him to talk about the fat, out of shape cyborgs when, and this is gonna be the meanest thing I'm gonna say, while they don't look like cyborgs, I do think on a higher percentage on average, Roosh V's audience are probably more chunky and out of shape. I say that as somebody who needs to, get back in shape a little bit more, right? So it's weird for him to throw that. And when he says gays are superior, there is no statistic or Pew Research poll done every year to check, hey, do you believe straight people should be able to get married? Hey, do you believe straight people deserve rights? It hasn't been only 6 years since straight people have had the right to marry other people. Straight people's adoption rights haven't been targeted in just the last administration. Straight people didn't have a vice president that endorsed their torture and conversion therapy literally 8 months ago. Not even 8 months ago, it was like 6 months ago. They're not claiming to be superior, and they sure as hell aren't being treated as superior. Hell, the things that he is complaining about when he talks about suicide, when he talks about all the things that are being faced by men, hell, 48% of gay youth, LGBTQ plus youth right now are considering suicide during COVID. Like, it is a significant statistic at a higher rate than average for the general male population. So I don't know how he could try to portray this as society's treating them as their superior. There's still states in the United States where about 50% of the population don't believe gay people should be able to get married, which shows that they probably don't have a great view of homosexual people. And this video right here isn't from 2020. This is from 2016. Probably around that time frame. If you look up Milo's still in the UK. This is before Milo moved to the United States. This is prime skeptic era. This is right when gay people got the right to marry, and now immediately they're superior than everyone else.
Anything that a woman or a gay person wants is theirs. But anything you want, sorry, we cannot help you. All of you here are seen as...
Yo, can I get adoption rights? Ah, fuck. Well, that didn't work. Sorry, Roosh. Seems it didn't line up.
Rapists. You have to be taught how not to rape by a feminist who is really fat.
Now, these aren't really the dating tips I was expecting. This is beginning to sound more like a conspiracy theory.
The bad news is that we haven't hit the bottom.
Do you think that eventually this will become a political movement? And if the answer is yes, I'd like to put in my application to work for you. That's not a joke.
I have a daughter, and sometimes I do fear for her upbringing. I think I'm doing a fairly good job. I try and set, a good moral guideline for her to follow. But what am I going to do to stop her from becoming the worst of what we see in society today?
You should give her a man to marry at a young age, 18. At least when she's 30, you have 3 or 4 grandkids.
give her, line them up. This is your state-appointed boyfriend. About Roosh V is trying to hook. You know what it is? Roosh V is trying to hook up the boys at his conference right now. He's like, hey, you should give her a boyfriend. In fact, hey, guys, everybody come up here, write down your phone numbers on this piece of paper, and he'll pick one of you guys. See, I'm solving your problems. State mandated boyfriends and girlfriends. Roosh V is kicking it into overdrive to build this new inceldom kingdom he's trying to start. Oh my God. Oh my goodness.
Be what? She's going to work in a job, one bad boy after the next. Many of you actually are going to use her. I don't think you should give her the freedom and the choice.
Let's see what does Reggie think about what we discussed today?
Don't give women freedom and choice. You know what? There is nothing better to raising a child than to cuddle them forever. So when they walk into the real world and then the difficulties actually slap them in the face of how to, like, what people to trust, what people not to trust, and financial freedom and all these other things, you have no experience whatsoever and have no clue what you're doing. Those are the people who are always the most successful. 100%.
It's been a much broader talk than I expected, in all honesty. I sort of came here expecting to hear how to pick up women, but it seems to be more about masculinity more than anything else.
Now, I take it that you have achieved a level of fame here. How have you leveraged that fame to sleep with the women that you want? Like, I really want to know that. Like, is it easy? Like, do girls just come up to you?
I've been doing what I do for a long time, and I started in television when I was 8 years old, so this isn't new to me anymore.
Are you gay?
No. I'm actually engaged to be married. So no.
Oh, okay. All right. Never mind. That's cool.
Yeah. Out of interest, just
like, oh, okay. You hung it up. Immediately, he's like, oh, you have power? How have you used it to sleep with other? I actually have a story. So I don't really pick up women very often because, you know, but I was in LA. I'm going to tell this story. I've told the story a few times, but it's a good story, and I think it deserves a repeat, and I think it deserves to be in a video. My camera just turned off. I have no clue why. I'm going to fix it in a second. Okay. When I was in LA, when you open up Grindr, even on accident, you click the app for like a moment, and to everybody in the area, you are now online. Even if you immediately close it, you're gonna get an avalanche of messages, and definitely if you're in a new area, you're gonna get a ton because it's a new face that people don't recognize. So they're gonna send you an avalanche of pictures. So basically means you get like sent like a million like pictures of people's genitalia. But I got one message when this happened, which was quite strange. It was from somebody in the area. They were like, hey man, stop catfishing. You're not Dylan Burns. What? Yeah, I am. Like, no, I don't believe you. So like I sent them like a picture. I was like, dude, like what? And it was like, anyone can take a screenshot. And I like sent a video and he was like, oh, cool. I love your political content. I was like, okay, buddy. I was so blown away. They thought I was catfishing. My being myself. It's not famous. It's not fame. It's just one. The thing is, this does happen like more than probably it happens for other people. Like people like, hey, I love your political content, but it's more just like kind of like a little bit annoying. Every once in a while, like just seeing like a DM who's like, hey, how do I get into organizing? I'm like, I'm on Tinder. I am not here to like talk about how to get on the city council. Could you please leave? Like that's how those conversations usually go. Like I'm not here for this. I am here for a very specific thing, and that does not include how the levers of power work in state government, okay? Anyway, just a story.
Just how big do you think what it is that you're doing here will actually get?
The sites that I run touch over 1 million people every month. Wow. And maybe they're not willing to come here and pay, but the ideas that I share is growing and growing.
All right, follow me out, lads, please.
And then, just when I think no one will go on camera, two men agree to meet me outside. Adam runs his own business, and Lorenzo is studying to be a barrister.
So what is it that's actually brought you guys here today? Why have you decided to come down?
Well, what's brought me here really is
I love all these people like, we need to be manly men, masculine men. We need to bring masculinity back. We need to start a political movement. Will any of you show your face on camera? No. No. You can't start a political movement without showing your face on camera. Now, I'm a little biased because I just went hog into it, right? My Twitter is my real name. My Twitch is DylanBurnsTV. Actual Easter egg. I don't know if you guys have decoded it yet, but if you look at my Twitch name very closely, you can actually find my real name within my Twitch name. People know what state I live in. People know what city I live in because I'm on the city board, right? I'm very public. So maybe it's just me being me, but anytime I see people like, we need to do this aggressive thing, we need to start a political movement, I'm like, okay, what's your name? And they won't even show their face, man. They will not even tell me my name, but they won't even show their face, you know? I'm sorry. You can't start a political movement by standing in your room saying women suck with your thumb up your ass. That's not politics. That's you being lazy and kind of scummy. Like, that's it. That's not political activism.
I thought that's sort of a concerted attempt to shut
Like, at
men
least
up.
these guys, like, I disagree with everything I'm about to say. At least these guys had the balls to actually do it. A movement based on bringing masculinity back and how women need to be subservient. You need to marry them off. Wow, you're super uber masculine. Won't even show your face on camera. Like, come on, get out of here. All it is Roosh V getting a bunch of insecure men in a room who have never been in a fight in their life. They're probably the type of people that were turned up by their ankles and had the lunch money shook out of their pockets when they were a kid. And now they're super insecure and they're blaming all their problems on women instead of doing some self-reflection. And yes, men face real problems, but it's not the fault of women as a group.
Now, recently,
right,
the past few years, and we're sort of losing ground. The BBC doesn't have a great, it doesn't get a great flack when it comes to these sort of things at all. They do seem to be on the side of what's right on.
Yeah.
And feminism is the fashionable cause.
What sort of man is attracted to an event like today, do you think?
Somebody who wants to engage with a very international, as you can see, group of concerned fellow travelers.
What is that? A group? That told me nothing. That could be the description of the United Nations. What is that? That could be literally a description for like people who report on peacekeepers. Fellow travelers. Hey, fellow travelers, what's up? Maybe he just really doesn't want to use the, politically incorrect term. Can I say that term on Twitch? Let me look that up. Okay, maybe he just didn't want to use the politically incorrect joke, word for Romani people. Like, I don't know. But can I hear that description again?
What sort of man is attracted to an event like today, do you think?
Somebody who wants to engage with a very international, as you can see, group of concerned fellow travelers who are interested in discussing these problems. I mean, look at
what he said. Literally nothing of value. Again, bold masculinity. Men need to take a charge. How are you going to talk about how women need to be subservient and you can't even raise your voice to just describe the room you were literally just in? Oh God, what did you send me, ridiculous? Wait, is this the guy? I know this guy. This guy said the F slur. I'm not gonna watch. Isn't this the guy that said the F slur? Am I right? Is this the guy who said the F slur? I'm pretty sure this was the dude. I don't think I want to know whatever you just sent. Can I even play what you just sent me on stream? Ridiculous. Okay, got it.
Have to do that. Real recognize real. I'm not a bad person. For anyone saying I'm homophobic, I literally am donating percentages of my stream revenue to you know, the LG community. I'm donating to a bunch of other communities.
The LG community? The LG, the lesbians, the gays, the rest of them wiped off the mat. 80 and he has wiped the rest of the LGBTQ community off the map. You see this flag? Those two stripes? You don't even need it. The rest of this flag is worthless. You can use it as like a floor mat. You just cut yellow and under, all of that's gone. Red, orange, boom, done. That's all you need. The plus, he was like, nah, screw the plus, screw the T, screw the bisexual. Why the bisexuals? I understand basic transphobia. Why the bisexuals, man? I don't know, man. Maybe he's just donating all his all of his money to like LGTVs or something. Like, I don't know, man.
I know my viewers don't like that. I just don't want you guys to think that I don't know, bro.
I love this, man. I'm downloading that. I'm posting I'm posting this on Twitter later. Oh my god. Yo, man. I'm not homophobic. I'm LG. I'm LG. Oh man, I love that. That's great. What a hero. He truly has shown that he cares, and he no longer says the F slur.
Look in here, these people are now mixing together, and very few of them have met one another before.
Yeah.
Homophobic and has an unclean room? I can't say anything. My room, my camera is very well positioned to show my room in its cleanest form. But I've been gone for almost I've been gone for like 2 weeks. Actually, yeah, no, 2 weeks. So I need to clean my apartment. I need to vacuum. I had somebody go look at my place. I was like, hey, go check my place out and like make sure everything's good. And they did. And they were like, yeah, we cleaned your dishes. And I'm like, oh, sweet, thank you. Because I was really worried about that. I come back. They just put water in a bowl. That's what they called cleaning the dishes. I walked in. It was like an ocean of flies. I was like, what the fuck? What is this? That isn't cleaning the dishes. I have a washing machine right there. He could have just put it in the fucking washing machine. That's the last time I ever trust anyone who's ever been near Twitch to clean a home.
The funny thing is, whilst these guys want to meet women, and that's what Roosh sells, some of them don't seem to like them very much.
And there are some really offensive, strong views from what, on face value, seems to be the meekest of the meek.
Exactly. These people are like so unbelievably meek, which is not, look, I'm not trying to say like they're terrible because they're meek, but it's for them to be I just am imagining them walking up to a woman after reading Roosh V's book. He's like, hey, I'm sorry, let me make sure, so I was wondering if like maybe if you could like be if you could be my subservient trad wife and be working the home and not be a fat feminist, please. Like, I'm sorry. And there's people in there talking about doing political activism, okay? I'm sorry. If you don't have the boldness to like speak up at a bar, then you don't have the boldness to like lead or participate in a political movement. I mean, there's certain things you can do, like participate from home, but I'm sorry, like, you're not gonna exactly be the trailblazer you think you are.
Normal looking guys, and they have these views that are just unbelievable. The thing that worries me most is that a lot of the ideas that are coming out of that room might be more commonplace than I probably assumed this morning.
Nevertheless, many of the men I met at the seminar claim they had to hide their views and their faces for fear of repercussions at work. There is one guy whose view on this I'd really like to hear. Comedian Daniel O'Reilly built an online audience in the millions with short vines showing proper geezer dapper laughs out on the pool.
What's your name? Carly. Carly? Fucking she knows. Carly! Carly, you're lovely. Hey, you're lovely. I've always had a thing for lovely women. Do you want to see it? Hey, hey!
And landed himself a mainstream TV series off the back of his success.
Girls, all the girls down the front are always the same. They start off at the beginning. Dapper! Dapper! Halfway through the show. Dapper! Dapper! After the show.
But Dapper's laddishness was branded sexist and even misogynistic from the start. And when it was alleged he'd made a joke about rape at a gig, Daniel found himself on news.
Okay, so maybe I'll get in trouble for this. While it didn't make me laugh, right? Maybe if you pumped like 20 edibles into me, I would have laughed. But it didn't make me laugh. I don't really find it funny. I don't think any of the two jokes you just said were like terribly offensive. Like, I do think maybe like grabbing audience members and like, want to see my penis, like maybe that's like, it's a little over the line, but I don't know. I mean, I guess a lot of it depends on like looking into the comedy shows you go on beforehand. For example, like if I go to like a Bill Burr like comedy show, I should have some expectation of understanding what type of show that's going to be before I go there, right? I'm not trying to like say he's funny because I didn't laugh, but I just wanted to put that out there. Like, I don't know about his personal views, but neither of those jokes made me go, oh, you know, I don't know. I'm not one to be the joke police. I'm not one to really like lean into that.
Newsnight, defending his entire act.
Just show her your penis. If she cries, she's playing hard to get. What you're saying is that women who say no don't mean no.
With no disrespect to you, do you think, looking at me now, that I actually would go out and do that?
Although Daniel apologised, his TV show was cancelled. But his character Dapper Laughs lives on.
The only reason I wear a condom, right, is to stop the girl getting pregnant. But I've got a couple of other tips for you. Get yourself one of them morning after pills, yeah? Crush it up, put it in her drink. I'm joking, respect women, respect women.
From the sounds of it, Daniel hasn't made any changes. And he's pretty unrepentant, despite all the flack.
Who saw me on Newsnight? Who saw that? That interview was hard for me because it's the only time I've actually really played a character. On the outside, I'm going, no, of course that's not acceptable to go up to a woman and say, get your gash out. On the inside, I'm going, can you get your fucking gash out? Hey! Enjoy the rest of the night. Thank you.
Like I'll say, like jokes like that make me like terribly uncomfortable, right? Like they're not funny, and then after not being funny for a little bit, I just get uncomfortable. I guess that's like the worst thing you can actually condemn a comedian for. Because the thing is, when you're a comedian, your job is to make people laugh, right? That's your job. And so when you're not when you tell an offensive joke and it makes people laugh and, you know, people are having a good time and people kind of expected that going in, like nobody goes into a Bill Burr show like, this is going to be some great like feminist LGBTQ plus like comedy act of a socialist Marxist dangest era. Oh my gosh, I'm excited. Like nobody goes into like a Bill Burr show thinking that, right? As long as you like know who Bill Burr is. But like the worst way you can condemn a comedian is number one, by not laughing at their jokes. That's when they failed. And so if you've already failed in that aspect, and then you're also doing offensive comedy, there's a second risk you're doing, right? And the second risk is if you're making no one laugh and then just saying something offensive, then that a person who's not laughing, all they just heard was you just say something like terribly offensive. And then boom, that's all you heard. So for me, all I just heard from this person's act as somebody who didn't laugh is, my penis, let me see your vagina, suck my penis, dump Viagra into her drink. Oh, no, was it not Viagra? It was the morning after pill. Like, that's all I heard. Yeah, we should call it. That's a good one, chat. The Crowder Zone. That's what we should call it. The Crowder Zone. When you do offensive comedy acts that no one laughs at, then you've entered the Crowder Zone, because then you're just saying offensive things.
Coming, Get this fucking beer.
How do you think that went?
The show was great.
Yeah? And it seems as though your crowd is very much sort of predominantly young men, 25 and under.
Yeah, but I mean,
why do you think that's the crowd?
You saw a lot of women there, though.
Yeah, well, exactly. I mean, don't get me wrong. I'll get to the girls, but I mean, the mainstay of your crowd is young men. Why do you think that is?
I think just because
I do think women are there, but here's another thing, right? This is something I had to learn like, I was a little bit younger. Was like, if you have jokes that target certain groups, and you specifically tell that joke again and again and again, or like say jokes of that manner again and again and again, there's going to be a lot of people who are part of that group who don't like to be singled out and are going to separate them from that space. And so what happens is either you push those people away a lot of times, and then what ends up is you have a bunch of people who are not part of a certain group making jokes about other groups, and that can get pretty uncomfortable as well. I'm not trying to be the joke police here, but like, bad comedy is bad comedy, you know? I don't know.
When I started off doing the comedy, I was really trying to take the piss out of men's attitudes, like, oh, you fucking shitty nose, like, and a lot of people don't want to go and laugh at political satire or current affairs. Sometimes I just want to laugh at something that's easy to laugh.
The thing is, like, look, I like a good offensive joke every once in a while. For example, but I a lot of times try to make it like laugh at my own expense. And it sometimes makes people uncomfortable. Here's a prime example. I just had this big kerfluffle of a debate in nonsense with Cut Sleeves, who's some like conservative duder. And during one of the debates I had, it was like almost a 2-hour long debate. And every once in a while he would say, let me give you an olive branch. And he said it again and again and again. And I heard it so many times that eventually I said, dude, if you give me another olive branch, I'm just going to put a noose around it for myself. Like, I'm sick of hearing it. And the joke was in relation to my recent, attempt. It was like saying that this joke is so bad. Oh my God. And if you would have asked me to explain the joke, which somebody brought this up in chat, if I explained the joke, the explanation would be, it's connected to my recent traumatic experience, and it's me expressing that this is such a annoying thing that I'm hearing over and over again that it would push me back into that traumatic experience. I can explain it, and I'm comfortable explaining it. And usually, if that is like good enough for you, like if you can explain the joke, even though you're explaining the joke not to make it funny, just to explain it, and afterwards you're not like, ugh, then that usually is a good like test to whether you are willing to like tell the joke or not. You know what I mean? But he was telling me on how hurtful that joke was to certain people. He couldn't tell me who, and none of them approached me or told me. So I honestly, I basically just dismissed it outright. Like, it just felt like joke policing about a joke whose main, I guess you could say, target was myself. It just didn't make sense to me.
Why do you think women come to your show?
Unless you've got a cause to fight, like you're a feminist or you're against sexism, or unless you've got a cause to fight, a lot of the young girls are like, they can see I'm taking the piss out of men.
Do you think that
Wait, a cause to fight? Wait. Did he just say, if you're against sexism, then maybe this isn't the show for you? Is that what he basically just said? Like, if you got a cause to fight, like you're a feminist or you're just against sexism, like that's a weird thing. Like, if I walked up to someone like, hey, I have this event, but if you're against racism, it's not the event for you, then it wouldn't be crazy for you to think, what kind of weird racist stuff is going down at this event?
it's
the reason that what happened to you happened was because you made a joke about something as serious as rape, or do you think it happened because of your particular brand of humour?
I think it happened because I blew up outside of the conventional way of becoming.
It wasn't that one incident, it was just the speed that you got to where you were.
I was getting shit from that. Oh, sorry, I was getting stuff from them same journalists, from them same people, months before that. They were just looking for something. My family personally has been affected by sexual violence. It's not a joke, do you know what I mean? And the only reason why I quit at the time is because what the media were putting on the family. It was horrible. I always judge how well I'm doing in life by what my mum says. And my mum has not been offended by anything that I fucking put out there. Because she knows I'm taking the piss out of men. But
I can say right now that my grandparents, who are the people who raised me, they're not, they support me generally in my politics. But I remember once she was like, so I found your YouTube channel. I was like, oh goodness. It's like a little too radical for me. A little too radical. And we had a discussion about, you know, some comments I made about this or that, like about statues, or like how I talked about civil disobedience and one thing. There's oh God, I'm sorry, this is another thing, a separate. Hey Gappy, thanks for the tier 1, I appreciate it. 6 months, baby, thank you, I appreciate it. Anecdotal Annie. My mommy says I'm funny. That is a great defense that this man has. But when you have family members, when you find out family members watch your YouTube content or your Twitch content and stuff, it messes with your head, because then you start thinking about every bad or mess up or mistake you ever made on Twitch or YouTube, or like some pretty wild things or jokes I've said. And I was like, oh God, did my grandmother see the Grindr story? Please, no. Grandma, please tell me you didn't see the Grindr story. No. And you start just sitting there, like, start panicking, like this is not for, this content was not created for this audience. Oh my gosh, it is an experience every time. When I was in the psych ward, I was sitting there during the interview, and they asked, like, I was like, I would like to get out, I need to get back to work, what do you do for work? And I'm like, and I always say, like, I run like a radio show, because I don't know how to explain Twitch to people, so that's usually what I say, like, oh, where can I find it? And I'm like, I'm on YouTube, whatever. And then right in front of me, they looked it up and just started clicking videos. And so I have a bunch of like psychiatrists looking at my YouTube videos, and I'm like, are they gonna find like me debating redneck or someone, and they're gonna be like, we're gonna use this as evidence. The fact that you put yourself through this means we need to keep you in the psych ward for 2 more weeks. This proves you're insane because you host a debate panel. And I was just sitting there sweating, hoping they don't click like a video with like an intro of redneck saying some weird stuff, you know? Oh my gosh. You talked to Chud Logic? Yeah, 3 more days on the ward, buddy. Exactly. I was terrified of that happening.
But listen, do you know what they're doing in the media now? They won't go, oh, I didn't find it funny, but I respect his audience and that he's allowed to do that brand of comedy. They will say, it's shit. I think the UK, especially the media, needs to decide whether or not they want...
Well, I can like say you have a right to do comedy and still think your comedy sucks. Like, of course he has a right to tell jokes. I just didn't find them funny.
Freedom of speech, or they want to stop people being offended by comedy. I think comedy is the last avenue.
Oh, charm hole. Oh my God. If they would have saw the charm hole debate. Oh no. If the psych ward would have saw the charm hole debate, I would have, I wouldn't blame them for keeping me in the psych ward for like another day or 2, at least.
We've got is comedy that, like, do you know, what's next? You're gonna ban people watching horror movies because someone's gonna go out and kill someone.
And Trauma, thank you so much for the tier 1.
If I say something on stage and someone goes out and does it, they're screwed in the head. That's got nothing to do with me.
Do you ever worry about the way that it could be taken out of context or the way that it could offend?
Yeah, it depends who's in the audience. I ain't gonna be taken out of context with my fans because my fans are watching and go, I heard the same stuff on the building site yesterday. Do you know what I mean?
That all got a bit emotional, and I can understand why. You know, this is a man who feels as though he lost his moment, his opportunity. But unfortunately, whether he wants to admit it to himself at the moment or not, he is normalising a certain level of humour that a lot of people find offensive.
real equality feminists today have a real problem with the mainstream feminists, because the mainstream feminists are radical Marxist feminists.
Marxists. Replay action. Thanks
Speaker's
for the
Corner
prime.
in
Oh,
London has always been a place for people
You
to-
converted a prime sub into a tier 1. I still appreciate it, even if I'm not your premium Twitch stream now.
meet and share controversial views.
Marxism when women have rights.
Is occurred. And today is no exception.
Hey, Vladimir.
Men rape. That's all we hear about, that men are rapists.
That's all you hear about? Dude, you're having some weird conversations of all you're hearing every day is men rape, men rape, men rape. Vladimir, thank you so much for the Prime Gaming. I'll be sure to come to Crimea shortly. And Yo Hodges, thank you so much for the Prime Gaming as well.
And child abusers. This is what feminism has been talking about. Now, have you noticed what she did then? What she did is she simplifies things down to say that I'm a woman hater.
Rod is a men's rights activist and is determined no one's going to shut him up.
Men don't need your help. They do need our help. They need our help very much. Our problem.
Well done. That got a bit intense, didn't it?
It does, but you get heckled to pieces.
Do you think coming here to Speaker's Corner week on week is going to actually change anything?
Yes, because what happens, we often see a young man standing in the background, doesn't say anything, stays for hours.
Hello everybody, my name's Josh, I'm 18, I'm from Essex. In my spare time I do a YouTube...
I mean, he's not wrong. Like somebody just standing in the background, just listening, you know, just taking it in, might hear a few things he agrees with, walks away with that. I mean, he's not wrong. That that does happen.
YouTube channel and a blog.
I don't know how anybody could sit through hours of that. But to be fair, I don't know how people sit up hours of my roundtables. I've tried to watch, and this is something that I'm trying to fix. I've tried to watch other roundtables, and sometimes even my own roundtables, and sometimes it's difficult for me to watch them, and I don't like it. But other people are telling me it's good, and it's weird. It's a weird feeling when you don't like some of your own content, but other people want you to keep doing it. It's not like it's like I don't like producing it. It's just I just can't consume it, you know? But I guess maybe it's also like I already sit through this whole conversation once, and I had to actually be someone engaged in it. So then listening to it again is, But a lot of my one-on-one debates, I don't feel like that. Like if I put on a redneck debate and listen back to it, man, I'm like, I'm having a blast. I'm like, oh my God, I forgot he said that. You know? I don't feel that way about my roundtables.
About gender politics and men's issues.
There's another crowd gathered around a second speaker, but there's something different here.
What is the obstacle to getting men's issues addressed in society?
He's just a teenager.
People don't know what men's issues are. Domestic violence against men is not treated seriously. When numerous places have done tests where they got women to hit men in public, people have laughed and taken videos and said, oh, he probably deserves it. And the opposite never happens. Thanks for listening.
Just out of interest.
I mean, okay, the thing is, so far, this is the first person in the entirety. Number one, tests, what he means is social experiments. That's the one problem with what he said. What he said there, nothing about what he said specifically there is actually wrong. A lot of people don't know about about like the rape of men and how that's not addressed properly. A lot of people don't know about how men are treated in parental court systems, and a lot of people don't know about like the how suicide tears through men and like all the men's mental health issue. Like, yeah, it's 100% true. And that's what makes confronting these conversations difficult, is because underpinning a lot of these misogynistic beliefs are concerns about with issues that men legitimately have, but the solutions they are proposing, going back to like this age of like men dominating the home and subservient women, aren't going to fix these things. That isn't going to fix men's mental health issues. That's not going to fix the higher rate of rape in prisons or anything, or rape or men being raped. It's not going to fix any of these things. And a lot of these things are actually also caused by toxic masculinity, which is something you never want to say to one of these guys, because they will say, oh, you're saying men are causing themselves to be raped, which is not what you're saying. You're just talking about the culture that society has placed upon men. But yeah, that's what making these discussions difficult, is because they'll list a bunch of things that men are going through statistically that are 100% true, but then give you just completely off the wall solutions.
What put this on your radar? Why would you say the issues that men are dealing with is such a problem for you?
Men's issues, I feel like there are far too, particularly young voices, there are far too few. I mean, we've got the Minister for Women and Equalities here in the UK, we've got the European Parliament Committee on Women's Rights, and we've got UN Women. We have no comparative organisations for men. So I'm pretty confident that women's issues are being dealt with. Men's issues, not so much.
I hadn't expected young guys like this to be so angry about what they see as discrimination against men. Meanwhile, Roosh's world tour has rumbled onto Canada, but he's run into some local opposition.
The Toronto media, Toronto Star, City News, every channel, I'm the leading newscast. Me, a random writer from the US who wants to meet with 40 guys just to have fun with them and talk to them.
But it's not just Roosh. With a few clicks, I'm starting to realize these kinds of views are easy to find.
Now this
Wait, guys. I am 35 years old and I grew up in Maryland, USA. No. Roosh V is a Marylander. No. 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 I share a state with him. Oh, no. Terrible. 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 Why is Roosh V gotta be in Marylander? He reads us very moco. He's definitely not Prince George's County, okay? Roosh V would have been shoved in a locker if he lived in Prince George's County. There's no way he's in Prince George's County. Moco maybe is an option. I'm not thinking Cecil County. I don't hear the accent. God, Moco is an option. You know what? I'm leaning towards Moco. Montgomery County.
With a few clicks, I'm starting to realize these kinds of views are easy to find.
Now, this idea of what Roosh is about and what he stands for seems to be a small part,
possibly Annapolis,
of a much bigger conversation, because on Roosh's website there is mention of this thing that I've never heard of before, and it's called the manosphere. No, it's a real thing. The manosphere is a name given to an informal network of blogs, websites, and internet commentators that focuses on issues relating to men and masculinity, often in opposition to feminism. Growing up with four sisters, you want to see them blossom, and you don't see anything that can help that as being negative. But being at Roosh's seminar, the word feminism seemed to come up over and over again, and it was never presented in a positive light.
But Roosh isn't the only one. British journalist Milo Yiannopoulos has written for The Telegraph, news sites, and has his face all over YouTube.
Oof, and he only got bigger since this video was made too. But now he's literally like a nobody who's now converted from homosexuality, throwing his ring in the ocean for attention and advocating for torturing gay people through conversion therapy. So this guy is completely gone down the ringer.
He seems to have done an incredible job of continuously arguing with journalists and politicians and feminists.
I almost went to a Milo Yiannopoulos speech when I was younger. I forget when it was. I think maybe it was like 2015 or something. He was doing some tour and he was going to speak at the University of Maryland, and I got a ticket. I got a ticket to go see him. And I just, I heard he was like a controversial speaker. I was like, oh, okay, I'll go see you. I have nothing else to do that day. I got a ticket. I was excited to go, and it was canceled. Imagine if I did go and somehow, some way, he convinced me. I doubt it, but let's pretend for a second it happened. Could you imagine the DylanBurnsTV we'd be seeing today? I'd be co-streaming with Rob Noor. Do I have the ticket? No, I don't. I threw it away. We just printed it out.
He feels like someone.
It is apparently Moco? He is. It's apparently Montgomery County. I saw it from a mile away, Montgomery County. all the Marylanders in chat knew immediately he was Moco. Immediately that Roosh V was from Montgomery County if he lives in Maryland. We sensed it on him. We know those Moco vibes, man. Oh my gosh. Saw it from a mile away. Okay, sorry.
That I need to have a chat.
And it turns out, with a growing profile as a self-proclaimed anti-feminist, Milo is only too happy to meet with me.
Good to see you. Nice to meet you. Good to meet you too. Good to meet you too. How are you?
Yeah, good, thanks.
Listen, you are the perfect person for me to speak to at this point. I met Roosh V very recently.
Okay, cool.
And I've sort of been made hip to this whole idea of the manosphere. Can you sort of explain to me what the manosphere is and what it's broken up into?
Yeah, I mean, it's a very eccentric sort of group of men who feel dissatisfied with the way that society is going, the way that the relationships between men and women are organised. And I think a lot of men are feeling as though their traditional role as provider has been, diluted to such.
Am I part of the manosphere? Because technically, I was unsatisfied with how my relationships with women were going, so I decided to take a different path. So am I part of the movement?
Well, they're not really sure what they're supposed to be there for anymore. And what a lot of the pickup artists, people like Roosh, do for these guys is give them a renewed sense of purpose.
Grindr's
the
real manosphere,
young
true.
boys are very worried that they won't be alone forever. A lot of them are worried they won't ever get good jobs and they will never get a decent pension. And they sort of just don't know where they fit.
It kind of feels like it's
a good job or a decent pension. What does that have to do with feminism? Again, women on average, now this is not like I'm giving you this money because you're a woman and this money because you're a man, but like women on average do make less than men. Like that's just, you can talk about how the pay gap's a myth, but that is a statistical like fact. So like, I don't know how that would be tied to feminism. That could be tied to labor's rights, unions, a lot of other issues. Have no clue how that's tied to feminism.
Against each other, you've got the manosphere and all the permutations of that, and then you've got feminism.
Yes.
What's your take on that?
What's happened to feminism in the last?
It could be men feeling neutered in the modern economy because women make something. Okay, maybe.
Politics. And this particular brand of feminism, which says that women shouldn't just be equal to men, but should be the same as men. You know, if they want to sort of grow their hair and get fat, then they should be allowed to. Ignores basic biological realities, and it also ignores some of the things that are different about men and women and different ways that men and women.
Wait, so is he saying, wait, so they want to be the same as men, like they should be allowed to get fat too. So Milo's saying like men should be allowed to get fat, women shouldn't be allowed to get fat. You know what that is? Milo knows that if he condemns people just for being fat generally, then he's going to lose half of his audience. I am mean, okay? LA changed me.
Women look for happiness. I think that the state of gender relations, the understanding and happiness between the two sexes is at its worst probably for 100 years. And I think that you could reasonably say that feminism has a large part to play in that.
Now I find these views surprising. And I'm not a feminist, but you don't have to be one to be challenged by Milo's point of view.
I mean, I've had messages about you prior to us meeting.
Already?
So, yeah, of course.
And what are they saying?
They say this guy's going to stitch us up. I can tell he's going to stitch us up. And I can't blame them for this because it has happened to them so many times before, over and over and over again. They're just outright lied about.
Right.
He's made it really clear that people are worried about me.
I don't know why they're worried about me. What have I done? It's mental that, you know, I'm so early on in this journey, and already people are paranoid that I'm out to get them. There seems to be this weird sort of sense of paranoia in this world.
It's frustrating to be judged before I've even begun. I want to see if I can persuade anyone from these secretive online groups to meet me face to face.
They have started discussing me and what it is I'm trying to achieve online. Now, when I say discussing, what I mean is putting up video blogs on YouTube. And it's not just the one video, there's shitloads.
Some of these anti-BBC videos have had thousands of views already. So maybe YouTube is the best way.
I'm sorry, but the idea of people making anti-BBC videos, my mind is so corrupted. I could just imagine them like, okay, no, I'm gonna...
To try and set up a talk.
This could be the worst idea ever, but I think it's worth having a crack at.
Hello there, MGTOW. My name is Reggie Yates. Some of you know that, most of you probably don't. I'm in your world now. All that I want to do is make a program that features you and your beliefs, where they come from and who exactly you are. So get in touch. Thank you. I do think there is a small chance that we may have a conversation, but I think it will be on their terms. And if that means...
Wait, so he decided to throw his... So this was like prime skeptic MGTOW community peak, and he decided to jump into the commentary community when we have like the MGTOW furries or whatever yelling at each other about abortion being banned and subservient women. He'd be like, hey, all you commentators want to be on an actual news program, all of you attention whores? And I know immediately they're all crawling over each other like, please have me on. Which I don't blame them. I mean, that type of attention for a YouTube channel can like skyrocket you to financial success.
It's a Google chat. If that means that it's via the comment section, so be it. It's 2015, damn it.
It's 2015.
But whilst I wait for a reply...
When Roosh V was talking about how gays like now are considered superior, it was literally the same year when we got marriage equality. Okay.
To my video, I'm still intrigued by that young guy standing on a soapbox in Hyde Park.
Welcome to Feminist Idiocy. In contrast to feminist hypocrisy, this series is simply me explaining issues that feminists talk about that are ridiculous.
Josh told the crowd to check out his videos on YouTube. So I have. And the content is far more extreme than anything he said in the park.
So the best way to discuss rape and the chances of it happening is to take the emotional element out of the question. Of course, that's why feminists are shitty at discussing rape. That was it.
Imagine. How do you take the emotional element out of being deeply violated? That sounds... You can't. Imagine being like, we need to talk about men's rape victims, but then like just completely throwing away their emotions. You can't take the emotion. That's like, imagine any tragedy. Like when we discuss 9/11, take away the emotional element. You can't say that to the people who lost lives in that tragedy. When you talk about this serial killer, you're talking to the family's victims, like, you need to take the emotional element out of it. Like, no, it is an emotional topic. Like, any tragedy, any crime that has victims is going to be an emotional topic. Why would you... I hate this, like, we must discuss every issue in the most rational, clear-setted, like, button-up vest, calm, monotone voice. Because if you show any passion... or any sadness, or any tears, then you have lost the debate because now you are irrational because you have feelings. Because issues affect you. That's the difference, I think, between people who play politics as a hobby. Oh, this is fun. I get to go on the computer and debate and yell and feel smart and like a good person. And people who actually have to deal with these issues day by day and come online and make this as part of their activism, or this is just like part of what they do. And the guy originally got into this because they actually care about how these issues affected them or people they care about, you know?
What on earth is it that is inspiring someone so young to say so much? And why does he feel as strongly as he does at such a young age?
I like how he opened that up. Listen to this. It's so...
What on earth is it that is inspiring someone so young to say so much?
I love how he said that, to say so much. Like he's basically just saying it like, dude, just shut up. You're stupid and a kid. Like, oh God. That's the politest way to just be like, dude, shut up, you're annoying.
And why does he feel as strongly as he does at such a young age? At 18, I wasn't thinking like this.
We are now approaching Colchester.
Josh has agreed to meet me at his home. I want to find out what's behind his views. There he is.
Hi.
Hello.
How do you explain that to mom? How do you explain the reporters coming in to mom? So BBC reporters are coming by. Yes, they're coming in because I was online and saying that people need to be less emotional about rape. And this will be on the BBC program, Billy. Yes, it'll be great for the movement.
I am good also. Thank you for having me in your home.
Oh, it's okay.
Why have you got a Anfield Road sign up? Am I in a Liverpool Football Club house?
Dad's a big Liverpool fan.
Oh, get me out of here. So you live with your parents?
Yeah, mum and dad.
Okay.
All right.
It's the room.
There we go. Right. Okay. What are you working on over here then?
This is the script.
A massive sort of document. Oh, so you write scripts for your videos?
Yeah, I do script them. I used to not, but then I just ramble and go off on a tangent and have to edit loads of stuff out. So that's a script for part 1 of my drunk sex series.
Josh is recording today.
Drunk
the latest
sex
in a series on how men can be unfair.
Drunk sex series? There's a series. So it isn't just one video on drunk sex. He did like a Harry Potter style, like multiple editions of videos on drunk sex. I'm multiple edition. Could you imagine? Like, and for $5.99, you don't just get one part of the drunk sex series, you get the whole drunk sex collection. My gosh.
Fairly accused of rape.
All right, I need to see the studio.
Studio's probably a generous term, it's just our spare room. The people who owned this house before us had a very young daughter, so it's decorated for like a 2-year-old girl.
Oh, right, okay.
So.
Oh, you weren't joking.
No, it is.
He doesn't want to admit it. He just likes the flower lamp. That is a very cool flower lamp. I'd have that in my room. Cute.
Really aren't joking.
Mum bought that as a joke because it went with the room in a sort of funny way. That's not a serious thing.
Okay, so this is where you shoot your videos. This is it?
Basically, yeah, it's a tiny little set.
This is the chair?
That is the chair.
Can I sit in the chair?
You're welcome to sit in the chair.
Look at this. Do you not think that it's crazy that, you know, you're literally sat here in your spare room with a camcorder and a bit of a script, and suddenly people all over the world have access to your points of view?
It's insane. It's insane. I've got, you know, just over 2,000 subscribers watching these videos and liking what they see.
I want to see you do what you do.
Okay, yeah, I can do that.
Let's do it then. Can I help in any way?
No, at the moment the camera only works when it's plugged in, so I'm going to have to do that. Fit loads, come on.
So what's the theme of the video then?
Measurements of drunk sex. So what is drunk?
Just out of interest, why is this issue on your radar right now?
I read an article in, I think, Huffington Post about California's new yes means yes law.
So the basis of your think piece, if you want to call it that, have come from what exactly?
Mostly from just sort of thinking about it, really, because it's just something, a lot of the things I talk about are just things you can understand if you just think about them in more detail. Hello everybody, welcome to Drunk Sex, a treatise in 3 parts. So,
3-part series on drunk sex. My God, man. To be fair, like probably the biggest time-wasty thing I do is I'll watch like a lot of Skyrim lore videos. But God, man, the drunk sex lore compilations. I need to get into that.
Let's try that one again. Hello everybody, welcome to Drunk Sex, a treatise in 3 parts. This is part 1.
I am sorry, but okay, wait. Oh, whoa, that's a freeze frame. Imagine this man telling you about drunk sex. Oh my goodness. Give me a second here. Okay, just listen. You just wake up and you hear this.
Hello everybody, welcome to Drunk Sex.
Okay, that'd be a terrifying concept. I'm sorry, I'm having too much fun with this video.
A treatise in 3 parts. This is part 1, measurements. So drunk sex, a lot of feminists are now saying, is rape. Think about the perils just of going on holiday. I could find a girl here in the UK, we could have sex, it's fine, she's not too drunk, she's still legally able to drive. We go.
Can anybody find me this guy's YouTube channel? I'd love to see if he's still producing content and what's he doing. Slav Knight, thanks you so much for the Prime Gaming, I appreciate it.
To a US state with a stricter rule, and suddenly I'm a rapist. Okay, right.
Okay, so that's actually simple. Like, yeah, in America we have this like state government thing, like this like states have different laws. Like that's true about all laws. Like suddenly I did this thing that was legal here, but now it's illegal here. Yes. That's how state governments work in the United States. I'm sorry that we don't do your Brit bongers thing or whatever the hell you guys do over there. But yeah, we have this thing where you can move to states, if you have the financial income, of course, to where you agree more with their laws so you can live a life how you want to kind of live your life. Like that's the whole thing, right? You go, for example, let's say you hate those libtards, like paper straws, then you just move to a state that doesn't ban those, you know? If, of course, you have the income. But that's how it's supposedly supposed to work. The Ogre from Shrek, thanks for the Prime Gaming.
It also has to be something that people can be expected to keep track of.
At 18, Josh is not afraid to speak out. I'm just not sure why.
This will overwhelmingly be a burden on men. Thank you very much for watching. I've been Josh.
Boom. And just like that, it's done.
Yeah, just as my SD card ran out of memory. Perfect. I had to cut a little bit out for that.
Wow. What's really fascinating about you, Josh, is your age. You know, you are so young. And over the years, I've met...
He has been Josh. Okay, so that's what we have to look up. He has been Josh. Rivalry and pull makes for special moment. Well, that's surely, isn't it? Salon faced financial challenges even after Yeah, nope, nothing.
Activists all over the world fighting for different causes.
Here it is. Drop the links. Personal fuck up and teenage vlogger. Oh my goodness. This is... That I remember these are caricatures of I forget what this guy's name was, but he was like a huge villain to the anti-feminists. That's Lacey Green. I have no clue who that is. I think that was the head of labor at the time, maybe before Jeremy Corbyn. What was his name? I forget. What the? He's like, Lamau, epic win, slap women. Whoa, what the? Yeah, Ed Miliband, oh my god. Yo, yeah, Steve Shives. He's like, oh my god. Oh my god. Whoa, okay, I was not expecting that. Wow. He's like, epic bonage. I slapped a woman till she cried. My gosh.
So I recently came across an infographic on rape and false rape accusations.
Is he doing anything these days? No. Oh, but here's the video series. Here's video 1. Can we find the one he did in the presence of the... What the hell? Wait, what? What? I feel uncomfortable because he's so... I'm 20, yet I feel so uncomfortable because he's like just 18. Why do I feel uncomfortable? I don't even know.
Hello.
Okay, no, it's not that one. Is this the one?
Example, there are different legal...
Yeah, this is the one he did right in front of the guy. I guess he stopped making content. Huh. Twitter? Oh, there you go. Let's see if he posted anything on Twitter any time recently. Nope. Whoa, this is what he... Wow, he's aged a little bit. The last right libertarian in the UK. Maybe he locked his account after the YouTube video that had him like, communists aren't people, they're property of the state. Well...
And the thing that is consistent in all those people that I've met is that there is a reason. What is your reason?
I don't really have a satisfying answer to that question. People ask me it all the time, and it's not like I had some big life-changing experience like a lot of people do. You know, a lot of the people I speak to in the men's movement are, they went through a troubling divorce, or they were abused by a partner, or they were raped. It was never like that for me. As a living, I'd like to be, you know, a men's issues speaker, or I'd like to join a think tank that talks about these issues, something like that. This is something I want to do for the rest of my life. We've got some stuff that she was given as a present.
And is this Mum's or yours?
That's Mum's. Mine's in the sink, actually.
You can grab a seat out here. Look at this. Perfect. How do women react to your views? Particularly, well, your mum. I mean, you live at home.
Yeah.
How does she react to some of the things that you say in your videos?
Nothing I say in my video is anti-woman, but some women do treat it as if it's an attack on women. I wouldn't talk about women's issues and feminism at all if I didn't think I needed to for men's issues. So if it wasn't the case that our domestic violence laws were heavily influenced by feminist academia, I wouldn't speak about it.
What gets picked on? What is it that they jump on?
I talk about false rape claims. I say false rape accusations are really harmful to someone's life. People have been killed by mobs without a court case ever taking place.
This is how, okay, this is a real test for if somebody really cares about men's issues or just deflecting from issues that make them feel uncomfortable. If someone talks more about false rape accusations than men being raped, then it doesn't actually feel like you care about men's issues. Because if we talk about the high rate of rape against young boys and men in prison, like, oh my God, like if you include prison, which you most certainly should, like men get raped more than women. So when I hear someone who's like, I care so much about men's issues, and that's why I need to speak up about false rape accusations, and they talk about that more than men getting raped, it always just hits me the wrong way. And of course, you don't need to talk about every issue to care about something, but it hits me as a little disingenuous.
And I try and talk about that, and they accuse me of derailing the conversation because false rape accusations are only 2%, even though we can't get an accurate study on that. It's more you're not focusing on the right issues than you're actively promoting something that's anti-women.
False rape claims are disgusting, and that's one of my worst nightmares, to be accused for a crime, serve time for something I definitely didn't do. But the fact that rape exists, and the fact that it is such an issue, and the fact that it is happening, it's happening on every street, and people aren't talking about it. It is a real issue.
Yes, but it's not like I'm hearing someone talk about how bad rape is and I'm like, oh, also false rape accusations. No, it's a complete separate thing.
I'm trying to get to the bottom of why so little of your time is dedicated to being 18. Because you're only 18 once.
I spend my time being 18. I do. This doesn't take up like half of my time. But I think I have an advantage over the men who...
Okay, so most of my time is spent working, and I'm like 20, and so somebody would say, I guess somebody would say something similar to me, like, why is it not spent like being young? I mean, you know, some people just want to dedicate their lives to work because they enjoy their work or they want to do work. Some people like care a lot about an issue and they want to dedicate their life to dealing with that issue. I mean, but I still can't 100% answer that. I don't know. I mean, I'd like to like just do a bunch of young stuff. When I was in LA was a blast actually, to just like relax and do nothing, just play video games, just go out and eat food, and just talk to people. That was a blast. I mean, maybe it would do me a little better to work a little bit less, take a few more vacations. Who knows? Jesus Christ, what is this guy?
Who have had their lives derailed purely because I'm not coming at it from an emotional angle, which means because if you are emotional about something, it can lead to you being aggressive.
Josh is a really impressive speaker, but I can't help worrying that he's building opinions about how women behave based on other men's bad experiences that he's found online, before he's even had a chance to live his own life.
And there is nothing wrong with fighting for men's rights.
That's a good point.
There is nothing wrong with believing that there should be equality.
Hey, but am
but
I
when
doing
your
all
own
right?
personal experience.
I'm doing the best I can. I still haven't been able to get my antidepressants, so I'm trying to aim to get those this Wednesday. But I'm doing okay, all things considered.
With women has been hard, has been unfavorable, and that then affects the way that you view the world. To then present that as the gospel is where things get dangerous, especially when you're looking at how many young men this is beginning to affect.
But at least Josh is prepared to stand up, be counted, and meet me face to face.
True.
And other anti-feminists on the internet? Not so much. But my video has caused a reaction, and plenty of anonymous men have had their say.
Only a fool would trust this dude. Fuck off. BBC stands for Big Black Cock. If this is what I'm receiving after literally sticking my tiny brown pinky toe into the pool that is the manosphere, what is it like for a feminist? What is it like for someone who says, I disagree with you guys?
It's just a piece of paper.
Free speech is one
It's
thing.
just a tenner.
Threats of rape or
Come
worse feels different to me.
Not like they're giving her the 100. It's not like you're replacing Benny Frank with Lacey Green. Come on, it's the tenor.
They're becoming more and more common online.
Like, okay, I'm sorry. Which dollar bill are we gonna replace with not Rosa Parks, but what was it? I forget. Okay, I know in the United States we're replacing, I think it was Andrew Jackson with the $20 Tubman. We went with the 20. I'd be a little angry, actually. To be honest, if I was a campaigner for getting Harriet Tubman, I'm like, we're just getting the 20? Not the 50 or the 100? And honestly, you know, they can go, like, that's 20% of 100. Then again, if you were to stack, there's the $1, there's the $5, there's a 10, then there's 20, then there's 50, there's 100. It's pretty high up there on the scale, right? 20 is the most circulated. That is a good point. I actually didn't think about that. 20 is, I do see a lot more $20 bills than anything else. Are we actually eventually going to do that? Like, what is the schedule on that?
I just don't get where all this hate is coming from. But I know a man who might.
How you doing?
How you doing, right?
Good to see you.
Ah, he's back. Why are we back with him?
I met Laurie, who is a feminist who I know that you're aware of, and Laurie has received unbelievable messages, which go from I know where you live to I'm watching you right now to I'm going to do XYZ to you tonight.
They don't believe this stuff. It's not.
Look, okay.
Oh, come on.
Listen, this is the typical bait and switch that happens with progressive activists, right? You goad people, you egg them on, you deliberately provoke them, and then suddenly you turn around and play the victim because you've got messages that you don't like the sound of. Well, I'm sorry, but you know, if your entire career is based around telling white men that there is something wrong with them, you can't then complain when you get messages on Twitter saying that, you know, that somebody wants to hurt you.
Why do you think men resort to using the word rape so often?
What the study shows that men and women use slightly different language when they lose their temper. Women tend to call each other sluts and bitches and whores and that sort of stuff.
I can't believe. Look, I get it. Look, when women get angry, they'll call somebody like a slut. Oh my goodness. When men get angry, they call in a bomb threat. I mean, look, it's in men's nature to call in bomb threats. Come on. Terrorism's just, you know, in there. Yeah, I'd love to hear the studies.
Rape as a sort of expression of power and domination is more what men go for when they lose their temper, like they might threaten to beat you up.
What does this mean for men moving forward?
It means for men that you can't win an argument in the public sphere unless you watch your language so carefully. When they speak out, they lose their jobs.
Watch it carefully. Bomb threats is not like a little bit over the line, like, fuck you. Oh, that's not what happened. You're calling in bomb threats.
30 Bangs isn't about making young men feel as though they have value. This is about making young women feel as though they have none.
Roosh is now back from the Canadian leg of his world tour, where there was a furious reaction to his article on rape. The mayors of Montreal and Toronto tried to ban him, and he was even physically attacked in the street. Now, I'm about to meet this mammoth of the manosphere in his own home.
Wait. He was physically attacked on the street? See, if it was done on private property, then it would have been okay, right? So who owned the street is the real question.
Hey, Reg, how's it going?
I'm very good, thank you.
I haven't seen you in a while.
Be careful. The reporter needs to be careful. He just entered Roosh's home, I assume, which is his private property. So you need to really be careful about what happens next.
It's a shoes off house, is
Yes,
it?
please, shoes off.
No worries.
I maintain a clean home.
It's a big old apartment you got here.
Here's the bed. One of the signs I used in the lecture,
Oh my God.
I found a way to use it here.
Oh,
You know, I mean,
really?
just-
Is that?
I mean,
please
just-
tell me you put that up for my benefit. Is that normally
this,
there?
I mean, you know, this sign I hope will stay here. Again, I know you already saw this sign in London, but I think there's another use of it that I can use here. And I work here, so all the genius that you may have come across
What
that
the
I
hell
put
was that
out
flag?
starts there.
What's in the kitchen?
Is
it pure muscle building foods?
Look at that. No, it's like, you know, healthy food. We got vegetables, eggs,
Yeah.
cheeses, whole foods,
Yeah.
right? But sometimes
Jack
if a
Daniels.
girl comes over, you know, you got to give her the supermarket champagne that I
was
bought
gonna say,
that I
Prosecco.
bought on sale.
You're really spoiling
But they don't
them,
know
Roosh.
that. They don't know that.
So how long has it been since you got back from Canada? All the world tour?
I've only been back for
So
about
he's cheap.
five days.
Yeah.
I'm still recovering from the drama there. They took one article I wrote called How to Stop Rape. It was a satirical thought experiment that the way to reduce rape is to encourage women to take responsibility for what they do. And I say we should legalize rape, which of course is an absurd notion. But
I've actually read that.
Yeah, but they
I've
took
read the piece. And you use the word satirical, and it's quite hard to find the satirical angle to it when you're actually reading it.
The point I'm trying to make is what would happen if we took this absurd notion.
Satirically, what would happen if we legalized rape? Satirically. Oh, I also happen to be the commentator who believes you should marry off your children. And that women should be subservient. And I constantly get women drunk before I have sex with them. I don't know if you're the best person to be having thought experiments, Roosh. I'm sorry.
And took it in a literal sense. Well, women would just take more care of themselves like they take care.
Oh, God. I'm going to trust you guys not to clip that, actually. I'm just going to trust you guys not to clip that.
Of their smartphone, their purse, and their car. But what the media did, they said he is a rape advocate.
A rape advocate. Could you imagine you're on like BBC News, you're on CNN, MSNBC, and you look at the little Titantrad under you and it says Roosh V, rape advocate? My God, man. You immediately have cut off all options for employment in all other industries.
I'm surprised at how indignant Roosh seems at how his rape article was taken.
My goal as a writer is to make sure that my ideas spread far and wide. So of course satire is going to be misinterpreted, but to be misinterpreted by everyone in Canada, all the media, and even the politicians who came out against me seems to be a deliberate action of theirs to paint me as someone that I'm not.
Roosh can't seem to see himself as anything but the victim in this, despite so many people's horror at what he wrote. I'm wondering if he will take any responsibility for what he's telling young men about sex.
One of the things that really troubled me, particularly from a point of view of someone who has a younger brother who is in his teens, if he were to read that book, for instance, and read the passage, no means no until it means yes, I'd be really concerned about what that might do in his mind.
I can understand, but I don't agree that the writing I share crosses a line. I advocate for consensual sex, but we have to understand how sex actually happens. We both know that if you bring a woman into your apartment and she, with a smile, says, no, we're not going to do anything, does that actually mean no? Is that when you stop and ask her to leave? Of course, no means no. And I have to state that. Then you stop, wait until she is ready to go farther, and then you go on.
But in your book, you talk about a situation where there's a woman who's half asleep and you jammed it in, I believe is the words that you used, which is so horrible.
But haven't you done that when a girl was half asleep? A girl that you already had sex with?
No!
You've never done it? It wasn't the first...
No! 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 No. No, you don't do that. No. What are you talking about? That is something you specifically should be like aware of. If you see your partner's like dreary-eyed or weird or like if you, for example, there was once at this period and I was really out of it. I was really out of it because of some medicine I took, right? And my partner at the time wanted to get sexual with me. And they were like, do you want to do this? And I just kind of like looked around and I was like, maybe? Cause like I was just out of it due to like a combination of meds they took. And they immediately was like, okay, then we're not doing it. And then they gave me a blanket and I just fell asleep and I woke up. And the next day I was like, hey, thank you so much for that. I was, out of it. Thank you for like taking that into consideration. If they would have taken that opportunity where I'm just completely out of it, I don't know what's going on, to just have sex with me. You don't know. Somebody's in an inebriated state. You just jam it in. No. That's the bare minimum. Jesus. I love the interviewer's face here. That's like, can we actually, that's a good reaction. Can we actually, like, can we get that as an emote? That's a good emote, actually, right there. If somebody could clip that, send it my way.
First time I had sex with her. No. Are you sure?
Wait, can we get, wait, can I?
Sex with. You've never done, it wasn't the first time I had sex with.
I like, oh, I like how he looks at the cameraman. He looks at the cameraman like, dude, are you catching this? Are you catching it? Wait, this whole image right here is a meme format. Look at this. This is a meme format. Right here. Right here. Me listening to Charmhole explain why I don't like rap music. Oh my god. That's really good.
With her.
No.
Are you sure?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
Okay, listen, I mean, I'm sure you've had sex with girls who were on some kind of...
100%. Again, the Roosh V model lines up. Can I... Okay. Tell me if this is too far for a joke. Actually, no, I shouldn't even say it. I'll say it later.
Alcohol or something else. Does that mean that you raped them? Of course not. So if you want to examine every instance, every thrust, maybe you can find something, but this can happen to every man.
Roosh, thank you for having me in your home. No more articles on how to rape women.
No,
How
I
about
think
that?
I'm done with the rape
I think
issue.
you should
I
leave
think
that for
I've
now.
made the point, you know?
Yeah,
And
you made a point.
Okay, man.
You made a point. This is a good documentary. Really good.
It was an issue when I was growing up, and it seems to be an issue now, and that is that young men need role models. They always have and they always will. And it just seems as though this movement is providing role models, just a different kind to the ones that I agree with. I think if you've got a man to look up to that is telling you that you'll be all right and that is showing you how to navigate this weird world, then you might just survive. But if you've got someone whose view is massively skewed and massively influenced by their own inadequacies or issues, then you're going to have some of your own. My worry is that there are a ton of young men who are desperately searching for something and are finding it in the manosphere, when in reality, what they actually need is they need a confidence boost.
We're gonna have Hutch for this Friday as well. So we got Xander Hall, Denims, and Hutch so far for this Friday show.
And they need someone to show them that you don't have to be this way to be successful in any part of your life, particularly when it comes to women.
Okay. That was a really good documentary.